Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleone Crawford. Welcome back to another episode of Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleone Crawford. Well, guys, we have a special guest with us today. We have Randi-lee Bowslaugh with us. Who is Randi? Well, Randi is a mental health advocate, an author, and a YouTuber. She started writing at the age of 14 years old as a coping strategy for her depression. 20 years later, she is now a mom, grandma, and thriving creative individual. With that said, we will now present to you Randi-lee Bowslaugh. How are you doing, Randi?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. I can't complain. It's a beautiful Friday. You know, the weather is nice.
It is, yes.
It's cool. Where are you actually based out of?
I am in Ontario, Canada, I'm going to say just by the border is the easiest way to explain it.
Okay, I'm in Toronto. I'm in Toronto, Scarborough, basically.
Okay, so yeah, I'm by Niagara Falls.
Oh my gosh, I love Niagara Falls. Absolutely love Niagara Falls. I lived there at one point for about a month or so.
Oh, okay.
I just love being by the water, just walking by the water. And
it's just always so busy.
It's really busy. It is always.
But you live in Toronto, Scarborough, so like you're used to all the busy all the time.
I am used to it for sure. Because it's definitely, like I live like close to like Kennedy Station, which is like a station that has like, it's connected to like 3 different lines, subway lines.
Oh, okay.
So it's like kind of crazy all the time, but whatever. Yeah. Anyways.
That's for you, not me.
I hear you. So tell us a little bit more about your profession, how you got started and why you do what you do. And so
so obviously I write, and I have a couple YouTube shows now. Started as one, just keep growing. So as you had noted, I started writing, like hardcore writing, to deal with my depression as a teenager, but I was really writing like from a young age. I used to write like little skits and make my cousins act them out with me. Mm-hmm. They loved it. They totally did. And then I released my first book in 2017 because I had found all of these poems I had wrote as a teenager and I didn't want to throw them out, didn't want to leave them in the basement. So I published a book. I went, I like this publishing book thing. It was just like a thing I said I would always do. So I was doing it. And then I loved it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna write another one. So I wrote another one about raising my kid with autism, released that the following year. And I was like, okay, this is fun. I didn't really have too much in me at the time. I was still working full time. And then I kind of took a break from that because I was in employment counseling, which is a whole other issue. So I kind of took a break from that. I got my personal training certificate. I was doing kickboxing. So then I started doing personal training more and kind of made that my business. COVID shut everything down. I went, I guess I'll focus on the writing. And that's when I really started focusing on the writing. Like before that, I was doing it. I was still working on my 3rd book, but once COVID hit, I was like, well, I can't do nothing else. I might as well hardcore focus. And I started my podcast and I will never look back because I absolutely love every minute of this.
It's amazing. You mentioned you have a son with autism.
Yes.
I as well have a son with autism.
There you go.
I have an awesome baby. He's 6 years old.
Oh, mine is 16 years old.
Oh, wow. I'm not ready for the 16 yet.
It's scary. It is very scary.
Yeah, definitely. We got to love our awesome babies. Yeah. So now we're going to move into the mental health piece of the interview. So with that said, what is your mental health diagnosis and when were you diagnosed?
So my original one was depression. That would have been, when was it diagnosed? I was working as an employment counselor. So let's go with 7 or 8 years ago, like actually diagnosed. And then earlier this year, I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mhm.
So tell us some more about your mental health story of resilience. What did you have to go through? And just walk us through that journey.
Oh, we could be here forever. No, I'm just kidding. So, it really, so as a teenager, that's when I can look back and say, yeah, I was first depressed as a teenager. At the time I was living it, I thought everybody felt the same way.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize that I was different, that I was, that something was wrong. It wasn't until I was going to college and I was taking a psychology course, I went, oh, not everybody hates themselves and thinks that they should die. Okay, well, this is a problem we need to deal with. Because up until that point, again, I thought it was a normal thing. It was something that mental health was something we didn't talk about. It was very, whatever happens in the house stays in the house. So as a teenager, my mom had gotten remarried. He turned out to be an alcoholic, and it was bad news bears. And again, you don't talk about it. So from seeing that kind of thing, my brother was getting into drugs, and in and out of jail. So I didn't reach out for help because that's not something that you did. I
Okay.
saw that you keep it in the house. And so, yeah, then as I got older, starting to realize things a little bit more, like I said, when I was going to college. And then finally, um, maybe, man, I'm feeling old now because I can't think back, but maybe about 9, 10 years ago, I finally reached out for help. And because I was really like, I was planning hardcore what I was going to do, and it was not a good thing.
Mhm.
So I reached out through my works, EAP, the employee assistance program,
Yes.
reached out. Yeah. So she helped me kind of get over a little hurdle. But of course they have kind of rules around how much you can go to them through the EAP. A couple years later, then I reached out to a different psychiatrist or psychologist, and started actually going to a little bit more intense therapy, got in a much better place, talked to my doctor, got antidepressants. Um, at one point, because my antidepressants were working so well, I was like, "Oh, I don't need them anymore," and I stopped taking them without telling anybody. Yeah, it was great. Horrible idea. I do not recommend. Um, just before COVID, I went back on them. I was like, "This is not working." I feel like I did before, so I went back on them. And last year I started going back because I had some other issues like that PTSD I was saying. I had some other issues that I was like, I think I need to work through some of this. So I went back to my psychologist. We worked through this like a PTSD program, like trauma therapy. That was really good, really helpful. So I'm feeling much better now. All through that, I mean, there's been other little things that obviously um play a role in where my mental health is sitting at the day. So for instance, like I said, my brother and my stepfather at the time into drugs and alcohol. My kid being diagnosed with autism is not in and of itself a bad thing. Let me, misinterpret that, but it was a curveball. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Um, and then I had cancer, almost died. My husband got diagnosed with diabetes. He almost died.
Wow.
My brother did die 2 years ago from drugs. It's been kind of a whirlwind with all that stuff, and then trying to deal with my depression on top of all of that. It was, yeah, good times.
Good times. Wow. What a story. What a story. You definitely went through it.
That's
So
why I got multiple books for it.
that's why we need the outlet. We need the
Yes.
outlet for sure. I'm gonna take a quick break because my door knocked. So I have to open it. One
Yes.
second. Definitely a whirlwind. You definitely went through a lot of ups and downs, toss and turvy, tipsy turvy type of story there, right there.
Yeah.
With that said, I'm gonna ask another question.
Yeah.
So what did you have to do to overcome or bounce back from your low points? List all resources.
So the biggest help would definitely be therapy.
Mhm.
It's not easy to start, but once you start it, I feel like it is definitely the thing that helps the most. Um, the other thing, I mean, there's lots of different resources out there. Exercise was always a good one, writing, playing with my animals, being outside. But ones that I think don't get talked about a lot is not hiding. So it's something that I think a lot of us with mental health, we mask, we pretend everything's okay, hide everything that's happening, even from those that we love the most. So my husband didn't even know I stopped taking my antidepressants when I did. I didn't tell him because I knew that I really shouldn't have been doing that, but I decided it was a great idea. So I was hiding, and then the one day I finally said to him, I said, I think I need to go back on them. He kind of he was like, excuse you? You stopped? What? Um, so not hiding is one of the biggest things because by finally telling him that, it was such a relief for myself to be, it was freeing. I
Mhm.
wasn't hiding anything anymore. So it's something that I don't think we say enough um, because we're so used to hiding everything.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Wow. And what are three things you wish you had available when you were at your lowest point?
Um, better resources to actually get help. So having a more accessible psychologist, one that maybe doesn't cost $250 an hour.
Mhm.
Um, they're very pricey
Yes.
and totally worth it, but at the same time, I mean, benefits don't cover very much when it comes to that. So definitely having a more accessible time to get to that. Um, having more people around me that understood what it was and not just go, oh, well, you're just being lazy. Like
Yeah.
that's not helping. Um, I know you said three things, right?
Mhm.
Another thing, I guess. Hmm. Those are two really big things. So I'm gonna say just those two really big things because I
That's
can't think of a
totally
third thing
fine.
right now.
That's totally cool. That's totally cool. And what words of hope would you give to our listeners? What would you tell somebody who's gone through half of what you've gone through?
It does not have to continue to be this way. It does change. It does get better. It's gonna be hard work though. Be ready, put in the hard work because the hard work is worth
Okay. Definitely, hard work is what is necessary in order to push through and to get through our ups and downs and our topsy-turvy life.
it. Yes. Ups, down, sideways, loop de
Exactly.
loops.
So we're now going to take a switch in the interview. As you can see behind me, there are there are some books called The Music of My Life. And basically, this book is about my journey with bipolar disorder and music therapy. So with that said, I'm going to ask you, what type of music do you like?
Um, it's probably easier to list the kinds I don't like, actually. I like so many different kinds. My favorite is probably country, but like my Spotify list is like it's got country, then it's got rock, some show tunes, some Christian rock, some rap and R&B, jazz. It's got a lot of things.
Okay, so you have a very eclectic style of
Yes.
music.
Yes.
Cool. So if you were to think of a song that best describes your journey, what would it be and why?
Hmm. And I know in the screening questions, I probably gave you an answer, right? What did I say?
What did you say? Let's see.
Um,
You know what? You didn't say one.
that's probably why, because I probably couldn't think of one. So
Or
what's popping
what is
into my
or maybe what is one of your go-to songs when you want to feel happy?
Well, I did just think of one.
Okay.
It popped into my head right now because it's a song I've been playing a lot lately because I'm gonna be in a lip sync battle for women's place soon. So I'm doing the song "It's My Life" by Bon Jovi, and thinking about it, yeah, that could suit me because it's my life. It's now or never. I'm not gonna live forever, you know. So it does work. Totally works.
Cool. Wow. I love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. So, how can we stay in touch with you and what are your social media handles?
Yes. So you can stay in touch with me by lots of social media. Not, well, it's not Twitter anymore. X, I'm on it, but I'm really not. But on Facebook, I'm at RB Writing and at RB Media. My website is rbwriting.ca. My YouTube channel is under RB Media, and that's where you'll get some more mental health stuff. And actually, you should come on my show one day.
Okay.
And then Instagram and TikTok, I'm at Randi-lee Bowslaugh.
Well, tell us a little bit more about your show. What's your show about and how can people follow you on your show?
Yeah, so my show it's all about mental health. I write a lot about mental health. So I interview other writers
Mhm.
and we talk about their mental health journey. So it's pretty interesting. I've up to 160 something episodes, I think, on there now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's getting there. I love it. And um I've had a few people come back, but probably had about 150 different writers on the show. Not just authors, but songwriters too, screenplay writers. So it's pretty broad. I've had people talk about bipolar, depression, anxiety is probably the top. But PTSD, I've had a couple schizophrenia, OCD, food, like eating disorders. So the topics are wide array. I've had not that autism is a mental health disorder, but because it's near and dear to my heart, I do have people come on talk about autism. Because the greatest thing about having your own show is, is you can decide who you want on. You can change the rules as you go. It's yours.
That's so true. That's so true. And what's your show called again?
So the show is called The Write or Die Show.
Oh,
So you can either put that in and find it, or it is listed as RB Media as well.
okay.
So
Write or Die
yeah,
Show.
write like you're writing something.
And is that on Spotify
It is on Spotify, any podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, etc.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It was definitely a pleasure having you as a guest on our show. Um, I definitely would love to be on your show for sure.
Yeah, I'll send you the info for it. I'm all booked up to the end of October, but I will be opening winter dates. I guess I should probably do that soon now that we're into October.
Yeah, we are into October. Yeah.
Which means it's almost my birthday.
Oh, well, happy early birthday for sure, for sure. A happy birthday to you. A happy birthday to you.
I love it.
Okay, and to all you resilient minds out there, until next time, please subscribe to us on all our platforms. And don't forget to rate this show and leave a review for us on the Apple Podcast. Also, join the community of resilient minds and sign up for our monthly newsletter at peonycrawford.com. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, The Music of My Life, on all Amazon marketplaces to get to know me better. If you can think of one person that will receive value from today's show or connect with Randi-lee's testimonial, please share it with them. Feel free to take a screenshot of this week's episode of the podcast and tag us on Instagram. You can tag myself at Oni Cleone or Resilient Minds 365 and today's guest at Randi-lee Bowslaugh on Instagram. Yeah. And despite your illness, and remember, mental health is not a death sentence. Despite your illness, you can strive, thrive, and live in abundance. Until next time, I'm Cleone Crawford, and I'm signing off.